Miyagi again, and we're in Mr. Miyagi's shop. Today we're doing the mock-up of the XS650 dual sport. So basically this is what I've got. I happened to find some old exhausts I had up in the loft that were stainless steel. The mufflers, I'll need to modify. These are it's just basically sitting in there right now. They were cut off to something else, so I will have to make a new receiver mount. I was going to go high and use these and cut them up and whatever, but I want to put my electrics and anything else in here and put in a cover plate that kind of hides this area. Going to run, I'm thinking of mostly running the stock exhaust. I do have a setup for a single, but the problem with that, when you do a single with a 36, it ends up sitting out in your way in your leg area. So I'm thinking I'm going to stick with the stock carburetors. These are the 38s. I like these over the 34s. They seem to be a little easier to keep tuned and whatever. I think it's just personal preference on it. And then I'm running the stock tank, and then I was able to find the seat. But in order to make this seat fit properly, I ended up cutting off the back area, which I'll end up re-welding a mount in here to be able to mount the tail light. Now I'm thinking about running this. This is an old drag specialties. This is what they call the king light. These are kind of an antique light in a sense from my era. But what I'll end up doing, instead of running a bulb, I'm going to put in two LEDs that'll mount in here on a little bracket, and I'll show you here in a little bit how bright these are. Plus it fits this area right in here beautifully, so it'll be easy to make a mount and come off that area and mount the light. Plus I'll probably be running turn signals on this. I normally don't put them on my bikes, but I think I will. These are low profile, so they'll sit basically right in here along this cover edge. And then I've got some mounts forward that'll actually fit on the fork that will take these, and these will set up basically in this area right in here. So everything is kind of tucked in close. Okay, so these were the LEDs. I'll let you, this is brake side. I just have one mounted in there, just kind of sitting in there, and there'll be two in there, but it lights it up pretty good. And the cruising lights, if you're running down your running light, not as bright, but it's, you know, a nice light and everything. And once those are inside this unit, I'll make a mount. It'll work. I think it'll work quite well. I also have, you know, for the turn signals, we have these, and these are LED too. They're not the brightest thing in the world. You know, at night they'll show up quite well. During the day, hell, I don't think I've ever really ran into anybody that's paid attention to my turn signals. You always got to drive defensively anyway. And what I'll end up doing is I'll be wiring these together, because you really couldn't tell the difference on it. But this is the front one, and it's not working. No. So that'll be my front light. And these were the small LEDs that I was talking about, that I'm going to put in there. Bought them by the gross. And The wind is really blowing today. If you hear a lot of noise in the background there with my ringing bell. So you can put a couple of clusters of those, you know, but I'll use something like this for the headlight signal. Another one, I've got a blue one in there, a green one. Green I like to use for the neutral. And then there's this turn signal kit you can get. This is from Badlands. This is the universal kit. This basically works with momentary switches. I may have to go a different route, but on using the stock controller, this is where you have your high-low lights and horn button, but it also has the turns on there. Now I've been told that you can use them on there. The only problem is that if you want to use this as a emergency flasher, you need both momentaries to work. We will see how it is. I mean, if I do have to change it, I'll probably do a test before I put it all together just to make sure it works. And if I do, then I can remove this unit and then just put in a momentary switch right here above the horn, and the same thing where the switch, put one up in this area right here where the starter, above the starter right here, so you can use those. We'll see. I'm trying to not have to do that, but anyway, it's a Badlands unit. It's the ATS-03, and it's 11-second canceling. So what that means is that when you turn it on, it'll blink that light, your turn signal, for 11 seconds, and it'll shut down, which is kind of a nice system. You don't have to get into a lot of fancy crap because it all pretty much contains in here, and you can wire in your brake light and everything else onto it too. So that's just something you might want to keep in mind. I got a package today, which was kind of nice. I got the new Enduro tires, or the Dual Sport, excuse me. That's the front, and this is the rear. So I went kind of aggressive with these Continentals. I did a read up on them. They're not bad. These are the TKC 80s. They're a pretty good tire. They're a tube tire because I'm running spoked wheels. And it'll set the bike a little bit higher. But yeah, it'll be fine. So basically, this is where I'm at on my mock-up. Like I said, I'm going to make a panel. I'll make a box in here. Let me get the battery. I'm going to be running one of these small Phantom batteries. These are lithium style battery. I've used them in the past. They work quite well. This one's in APP 14 amp dash BS12, meaning 12 volt. So that means I can mount that pretty much anywhere I want in here in this area. I don't have the stock box for the air, so I'll probably go with Mike's XS, these XS air filters. But the cover for this, it's going to come down and it'll loop out around this, and also pick up the old points of where the old side covers with. This inside of the frame, I'm actually going to build a shield that comes down and literally comes up into the area above the top of the tire, so I have plenty of room there. And it's just basically a splash guard, so I'm not throwing any dirt and crap up into here. The front, I haven't decided yet. This is an old fender off of a TX650 that I may or may not use. I'm thinking about building a fork brace and going that route. So I've been going back and forth now on the shocks, and those are 12.5-inch shocks on there. I may go to a set of 13, 13.5. 14s were way too tight. It pushed that rear end way up. I don't have any 13.5s around the shop. These are just old ones that I had kicking around, the 12.5s. And it sets the bike at a nice level, but I really won't know until I get the spokes on and the new tires just to see how it sits. Using an old set of handlebars. These are the raised handlebars. They're pretty comfortable. I like them. A lot of guys will run with the lower ones. I'm going to stick with these. I kind of like this setup. Running the stock, basically a stock tack and speedo, and it's got the high beam indicator on it, and the lamp here's got neutral, which I will change all this out to LEDs. I have smaller LED bulbs that I can put in here. I kind of like those, and they have less draw on the battery system. Although I am, from Mike's XS, I did order the charging kit for this, so we're putting on a 200 watt system, so it's a little more. I am running the Pamco single, the single fire ignition for this thing, so it works perfect. These things kick over beautifully. If you got a low battery, that's another thing. This one's plugged, but on the other engine we're going to have to kickstart. If you got a low battery, kickstarting these things, they work beautifully because you got an active stator that's going to fire up. You can charge the system while you're kicking, just getting you enough fire to fire this baby up, get her running. I'm trying to think of anything else, but if you guys want to comment on the look and style, or you have any input, I'm open it. You can make a comment in the comments below. So, okay, I've got some of these old school headlights that I thought about using, and I'm looking about buying a LED setup for this, for a little brighter at night running, and where you can get a seal beam. This one's cracked. It has the H4 style turn-in headlight bulb. I may or may not run those. I don't know. I thought about it. I have got a bunch of these old Sportster ones, but I don't think I will. This I don't think will look too bad up in there. What I'm going to end up doing is show you here. This is one I modified for another guy, and I'm probably going to end up doing this where you cut this out, cut a piece of metal, and put it in there, and then this literally can be mounted right there. So it's going to have a mount pops down on there. So I may do that, or see what they want, or some of those LED spotlights, but I kind of like to have a high-low beam. I've ran, on one of the bikes I built, we ran dual LED, just straight spotlights, and they work good, but they're really bright when oncoming traffic, and I know how I am about guys running the newer style LED lights. If you don't have them adjusted right, you're blinding the other guy, which is not good. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget about the comments down below. I'll try to get back to you. Y'all have a nice day. This is Mr. Miyagi signing off for episode 2 of this old bike, the old XS650. Talk to you guys later. Bye.